Coach's Corner with Heck and King live at Corby's Irish Pub is presented by Tony Letcher with Health Markets Insurance, Pond Funeral Homes and Bricks Driving School in Mishawaka, and the Harbor Group Planned Wealth in Anderson.
If you're watching on live, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up, and comment in the live chat. If you're listening on audio podcasts, follow the show and leave a 5-star review. Now here's Heck and King.
Welcome, everybody, to Corby's Irish Pub on just a beautiful Thursday, mid-evening, early evening at the bar. And, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, cool. To my right, the great Patrick J. King. No, your middle name isn't J. What is it?
My middle name changes daily.
What is it?
L.
Patrick Leon King, and the Pats right, the great Johnny Be Good, Johnny Overmeyer.
Hi guys,
looking good, John. It is so good to see you. We haven't had you on the show for a minute, and so glad you were able to come out tonight and share some time with us. We are going to have the great CB Gavin come in at about 7. CB's the athletic director now at Riley High School. We'll talk about some of those, his daily duties. But one of the things that I want to chat with him about, and I think it will be a lot of fun, is CB and I grew up together, played basketball against each other. CBA played his freshman year at South Bend Central, and we'll get all the details. But I remember playing against him, and then he couldn't play any more high school basketball because he had some heart issues. I used to tell CB he didn't have a heart. I said, you beat the hell out of me my freshman year, and you're telling me you got heart issues? I know, because you didn't have a heart. You had no mercy on me. You kicked me. You got me down. You kicked me.
That's the way you did things at the park back in our day.
You're 100% right. And just a lot of news items now. Basketball in big time happening now with basketball regionals. We're coming off of some great sectionals. I know your crew did some sectionals. I did the South Bend sectional at Mishawaka. We got college tournaments getting ready to play. We got the WBC. We got the United States getting lucky because Mark DeRosa didn't have an understanding of where he was in the standings and set some guys in game number 3 and got beat. And then he tried to retract. He tried to retract his statements. Come on, D-Row, you know better than that. But first of all, I want to chat it up a little bit. Just some breaking news, man.
Some local news.
Yeah, breaking news, and one of our guys, one of our favorite guys, Johnny.
Yeah, Rob Berger at Marion, unfortunately, has been suspended for their regional championship game with East Chicago Central. Some things happened this week in practice. It was self-reported, and the school has unfortunately suspended Robbie for a game, and that's kind of too bad. A great coach, and he's been on the show before, a great guy, and just too bad that something had to happen that's caused this action to happen.
Yeah, and obviously why it happened or how it happened, that's between him and his school. But the point being that self-reported, okay.
Okay.
I ain't reporting nothing. I mean, I'm just saying, man. You know when I'm going to report it? April 27th.
I don't think he reported it.
I know.
Some administrator probably reported it.
I know, and I'm reporting it April 27th.
But they play at Michigan City this weekend, and they play East Chicago. And in a rematch from, was it last year's or 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
2 years ago, semi-state down at Logansport.
Yeah, East Chicago Central, 14-12. Robbie brought that Marion team along at 17-7. And we're playing really, really well. He had a kid move in from Niles, Andre Wells, who had begun. His brothers played at Mishawaka. One of his older brothers played when I was coaching there. And Andre was a camper, was about that big, and would come to camp and was just phenomenal. He's now a junior and playing really, really well for Mishawaka.
He's still a little taller.
Well,
I think
I think he's about 6 foot, isn't he?
Yeah, I'd say maybe.
No.
I
think he's closer to 5'9", but go ahead.
Yeah, but you know how you coaches play heights on rosters.
Yeah, you can make.
How tall do you think you are?
Me?
Yeah, how tall you think you go?
6'3.5".
6'.
Shrinking daily.
I am. So I measured in at 6'4.5" with my transplant doctor in Chicago. So I'm holding.
Yeah.
And you're shrinking?
Mine's shrinking down here.
Well, no.
From here, shoulders.
No, I get it. I get it because I never see you anymore at Planet Fitness.
No.
I never.
I'm allergic to that place.
Okay, cool. What I would want to tell our listeners is that coaching high school basketball, and even more so today, I think the pressures, the abilities to want to win, and all of that stuff. When I was coaching in Anderson back in the day, and you really know what the internal pressure at Anderson is.
Oh, sure.
Because Anderson, they put those kids on a pedestal, and it's life in Anderson basketball.
Well, and I think I've shared this story before. When Coach Hadaway was alive, one of the things that he had shared with me is that he had interviewed for the Anderson job back in the early 70s, and Mr. Cummings, the athletic director, who was the coach of the 46 state champions when your friend and our friend Jumpin' Johnny Wilson was playing, he flat told him, he said, "Now look, we have a group coming in here, the freshmen and sophomores, that are maybe one of the best groups we've ever had, and we are totally expecting to get to the state finals and maybe even win the state finals, 2-3 years from now when they're juniors and seniors. That's on our expectation list." Yeah. And Coach Hadaway said he walked out of there going, "There's no way in God's earth I'm going to come down here with expectations like that." He said, "I don't want that hanging over my head where if my program's going to be considered a failure if we don't get to the state finals." But then he turned around and comes to the state finals the next year and beats the Indians 2 years later.
And so I wouldn't. And I guess, Dave Hadaway's a Hall of Famer. He's great. He's got the court named after him. Are you kidding me? Hadaway Shack.
Hadaway Shack, you betcha.
Jeff Hull and I were the ones that helped get that pushed through to get his name on the court, 20 years ago. But they remodeled.
I think the difference between me and him, and it's an innate difference. And I don't know why it would be, but from my standpoint, that would never be a concern for me, because I would just go in and do what I do and coach basketball, and I would always be confident that the way I coached. But I guess my point is, with Rob, I got jammed up a time or two at Anderson, and had to miss a game or two or three maybe, and it's right now it seems like the end of the world, because it's a mistake maybe that you made, and it was a mistake that I made. But as things keep going and your season keeps going, and you continue to coach and you continue to bring new kids in, and you have new milestones, that stuff kind of goes away.
Well, when we've discussed at the college level how many, what do you call it, hidden rules that you just don't know about that are back on the back page, something as minor as providing rides home for the players, but those things, then somebody reports it, and next thing you know, Rob's in the situation he's in, so you just accept it and hope things work out, and maybe they win and he gets a chance to coach in the semester.
Yeah, I think that's the big point now. Take care of business, get your assistant coaches, tell them you'll take them out to dinner. Well, and don't say you're going to I'm taking you out to the Golden Corral if you win. Don't say that. If you win the regional, I'm taking you to Ruth Chris. Okay?
All right, that's kind of leftover from your Cecina days.
No, but I'm just saying, if you win the sectional, I'm taking you to Ruth Chris, right, John?
Absolutely.
I'm not going to take you
I don't want to go to Golden Corral.
No, I'm not going to the Golden Corral.
You guys are the only team
I like the Golden Corral.
So do I, but I prefer to go to Ruth Chris.
Yeah, I like Red Robin.
Yeah.
Now tell me, now tell me I'm wrong. When you guys were at Cecina, as an assistant coach, you guys didn't rent buses. From what I understand, you guys rented limos, because it was cheaper to rent a limo.
Totally.
Those 12 people limos, take the kids to the games in a limo, and then you stopped at Ruth Chris on the way home instead of Ponderosa.
Hey, Gary, has he been drinking?
Tell me I'm
Gary,
wrong.
Has he been drinking?
Gary's going to agree with me.
No, you're 200% wrong.
No.
Limos, we never took limos. We had a charter. Had a charter bus.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
We had a charter bus. We never took limos. Come on,
the story
man.
I heard is you guys were in limos and stopped at Chris on the way home.
That's how trash gets started. That's how it all gets started.
I'm just saying, when the word came up north here, when you were in Indy,
Nope.
at Cecina, that you guys were living the high life.
I can't even say that's true. But I will say something, John. Next Wednesday night, Pat King and I are going to go to the Hall of Fame
I was wondering
banquet.
if you guys are going to go to the
That's
banquet
right.
next
We're
week.
going.
And by the way, I missed you when I got inducted. I thought you were
I
coming,
was
man.
coming. I got stuck.
I know.
You know how that goes. I'd like to go this year with Jerron Cornell being put in and
Exactly.
Greg Hubnicki getting the Virgil Sweet Award and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah,
Hummer gets an award about every year right now.
Does he
He
really?
got something last year.
He did get
too.
something last year. Yeah.
He's starting to stack those things up.
Well, Greg Hubnicki works his brains off, and he's that Northern Indiana Conference probably would not have survived if it wasn't for Greg Hubnicki.
Good point.
And when you can, when they can give you awards and you're still living, I think that's cool. They're inducting 16 candidates into the Hall of Fame, but 6 of them are gone.
Yeah, that's
And so last year when I had my turn in my chance, everybody was on my case because I never knew you only had 3 minutes. I didn't know that. Matthew Graves, the coach at Indiana State, goes before me, and he says, and he gets up and he starts his speech. Hey, I want to thank the committee, and I understand that I only have 3 minutes, so I'll make this short. Well, I got up there and said, 3 minutes? I never got that memo.
So while we're sitting there together at the table next Wednesday, I'm going to sit there and look down the list of who the people are that are giving speeches, the new inductees, and I'm going to maybe predict who's going to get the Ron Heklinski Award for the longest acceptance speech.
Well, yeah, but there's a method to my madness, John, because Lloyd and Floyd Kerr from Washington.
okay.
They were deceased.
Right.
And Bryce Drew was coaching at Grand Canyon, so he wasn't there. There were 3 no-shows.
So that's 9 minutes.
So I got their minutes.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I totally agree.
With their 9 and my 3, I went 12.
Why not?
And that's how I rationalized it, right?
You did.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Thank you. I'm so glad to hear you say
agree
that.
with you.
I'm
I
still
agree with you,
looking for the list of people that believed you is about.
Yeah, well, no. When my guy, Matthew Graves, so I had a speech typed up beautifully. I'm going to read it like all the other dudes, and about 3 minutes and 45 seconds. When Matthew Graves put the ball on a tee for me, it was, what else could I do? I put the speech down, went 12 from my heart. Right?
Good for you. Absolutely.
No, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, that's called ad lib.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
That's perfect.
And in the business,
you ad lib.
yes, yeah. There was no way I could have just done this. And I thank you very, very much from the bottom of my heart.
Nobody wants to hear that.
No
one wants to hear that.
They want to hear me tell a joke or two.
Yeah. Tell a good
100%.
story. Yeah.
You need to come on this show a little more. I got someone that agrees with me finally.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. Yeah.
Pat just looks at me like, you're just, what's the matter with you?
And I work with this guy.
What's the matter with you, heck?
Sometimes it's better not to say anything.
Thank you. So
hey, I do have something. Can I
yes,
interrupt?
Interrupt.
Last week, I had to do some fact checking of my own last week, because I went back and listened to the show. And last week we were talking about schools being sponsored by Adidas, Nike.
Before you get to that, how'd we sound?
We did pretty well.
You did okay. You guys a good job.
Yeah.
I go back and
thank you.
Yeah, I do.
You did okay.
Not I tell you.
And if you remember, one of the things we were talking about.
Well, we're on broadcastsport.net,
yes,
so we can't.
Right here, right there.
We can't. There's no way we can ruin your site.
I haven't yet.
Okay, thank
crashed
you.
Yet.
It hasn't crashed yet. All right. As I was trying to say, we were talking about different players. We're doing the NIL stuff, and if you remember, with our conversation with the assistant commissioner, but I had mentioned that. The name Romeo Langford. I brought that up and was talking about Romeo Langford down in Southern Indiana, who played for Jimmy Shannon at New Albany, right?
Sure.
And I said, he was on an Adidas AAU team in Louisville. And as I listened to it more and more, it sounded like I said that Langford went to Louisville to play ball because it was, that was his AAU team. What I was hoping that would be translated was he played on AAU team in Louisville, knowing he also played at IU, which was an Adidas school at the same time. So I wanted to make sure that was cleared up, that I didn't think that
That's so nice of you.
that I had Langford going to
Get your
Louisville
facts right.
playing for Patino.
So where's WKRP? Where's our fact checker?
Well, he was
He's over there
busy.
eating.
He was busy.
He was busy, and WKRP could have.
So-
Forget it.
So anyway,
Forget it.
yes,
You guys are confusing me.
at the time, Louisville and IU were both Adidas
Romeo
schools.
Langford went to IU.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it was a one and done.
Yeah.
Right.
But he played
But
at
AAU
he was at New Albany with
Oh.
Jimmy, but he
He played at an Adidas-sponsored AAU team
based
in
out of
Louisville.
Louisville across the
Okay.
river.
That's all clear as mud.
Yeah, no.
And if you remember, if we
beautiful.
want to take one of our teams out of the state, the zero line starts at the bridge at Louisville, so we can go clear to Memphis or Nashville with our team. That's where your 300 miles starts.
Yeah,
even
and
though it's 3 hours, it's 4 hours to Louisville, and then it's another 4 hours.
we're going to have a great show tonight. And if we had time, I would relive that story when I took my team to Washington, D.C., because that was in itself a fiasco.
They told you no how many times?
Yeah, no, it's 100%. But I don't think we're going to have time to hit that. And if we go a little dry at the end, I'll bring that up. Hey, so who did you guys have in the sectionals, John?
We did the LaVille sectional. Had a great final between Bremen and Jimtown, as you remember, Pat.
Yes.
A great game back and forth. Bremen got up double digits. Jimtown stormed back. The thing that impressed me most about Bremen, we always hear about Chase Devine getting all the accolades. Their center, their big forward, that Riley Teener kid, he can play. He can really play flat out. And I think he should have been the MVP of the sectional.
Well, he was pretty good. He was a difference maker, wasn't he?
He sure was. He really helped.
Jimtown had no answer for him. That's for sure. And now, here this week, it's going to be interesting. One thing I was thinking, with the tornadoes that we had come through here, especially over here west of us, North Judson hosts a regional.
Oh, yes, they do.
And, that tornado went right by there. Kenny has been driving that way here recently. Probably has seen some of the damage this week.
They still got a gym in North Judson, Kenny?
The nest is still there.
That's still
Okay,
there.
well, there's our fact checker from WKRP just told us.
Can we get there? Are the roads open? Yes. Okay.
WKRP, there he
There
is,
you
our
go.
fact checker.
So where are you going this week? You're going to Huntington,
I'm going
right?
to Huntington this week.
Now, here's
Whoa,
the thing.
whoa. You're going to Huntington? So where are you going this week?
I'm
You're
going
going
to
to
Texas.
He's not
Who's
working.
playing in Texas? I thought it was a 300-mile rule.
Birthday party time. I'm being a grandpa this weekend.
This is state tournament
yeah, I know.
time.
He's
Now,
going-
what's interesting is Bremen's girls went to the semi-state, and now Bremen's boys are one game away.
Yes, they are.
So the Bremen is hitting. I watched something on the news today. It was talking about the history of Bremen. Did you guys know that their colors used to be like purple or blue or green?
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
but
No,
because of the mint factories that they had at the turn of the century,
okay. All right.
Okay.
they changed everything, and the school colors became green.
Okay.
And that's why Bremen is green, is because of all the mint
Okay.
that was grown and still maintained. I guess there's still a factory there. So all your peppermints and your toothpaste flavorings and stuff like that comes from Bremen.
Okay. I'm not trying to be a smart ass or anything. Is that why mint chocolate chip ice cream is green?
Maybe.
Yeah. Got the mint color.
Okay.
They probably use vanilla base. They put
Yeah.
the mint color in there and the flavoring.
Well, why isn't a peppermint candy green then? It's red. I'm just going on your theory.
All I know is the school colors. The school colors are now green.
Okay,
That's
good,
all I know.
beautiful. No, I know.
And they play a very good. We'll talk more about it, but they play a very good Bishop Luers team from Fort Wayne.
Yes, they do.
Coming up and
But-
so forth.
But so isn't North Judson part of that whole mint deal too? They grow mint in North Judson,
Yes. Oh, yes.
and you drive by North Judson, you smell. It smells like a cool, like a cool cigarette deal where it's mint flavored or whatever.
That's one of the things they grow over in that area.
Yeah. One of the things. Yes.
I know one other thing that they grow over there that the state police fly over all the time with their helicopters to check on too. But that area, I don't know if you knew it from our history lessons we used to talk about. It's where they had cannabis farms.
Seriously,
They had hemp farms over there from World War II because we used to get our hemp from the Japanese.
So wait, whoa! You said you used to go over there and get hemp?
No,
When you said
you better explain yourself.
yeah, son,
well,
you better.
I'm going back to my North Miami
Big
days.
Pat's looking down at you right now, saying, "I didn't even know you smoked
Now,
weed."
you're going to get me away on a tangent. You know the state police post down in Peru?
Yes,
All right.
yes.
One of the things they do is if you drew a square Rochester to Peru, over to Winnemac, over to Judson, down to Knox, and back over to Rochester. That area is where they had hemp farms in the 40s, 50s, and 60s that were controlled.
Why didn't we know about that in the
run by the
70s?
government. They were using that to make rope before nylon ski ropes were created for the Navy.
Gee, so when my buddies in the 70s were saying, "I'm taking a drive down to Peru this weekend," I'm glad I didn't go.
The true stories is, you've got they called it ditchweed. They would have to go along US 31, and you'd see it growing down in the ditches on US 31.
Man.
Wild, because that stuff's so hard to kill. But literally, you could see marijuana growing along the highway there on US 31.
All right, so I had the games at Mishawaka, and the Friday night was classic NIC.
That was
classic NIC basketball.
Yeah.
One of the best sectionals in the state.
Because we had Riley Penn and Riley's quickness, Riley's athleticism. Penn didn't shoot the ball well at all. Riley did just a great job on Caleb Kuhlman, and I thought the quickness really kind of hurt him a little bit, and I felt that, and I said this on the air, that Penn was really struggling with Riley, and I said that I think Caleb Kuhlman's got to get a little selfish here, and he's got to put this team on his back and go score and take some shots. And Caleb Kuhlman he's an outstanding player, and he plays it by the book, man. If he ain't open, he's not going to force it, And I thought that was one of those games where going into the game, you had to maybe say to him, you got to get 20 shots up.
You got to get some shots.
You got to get 25 shots up. In order for us to win, you got to get some shots up. And he's such a good team-oriented player that if he wasn't open, he wasn't going to force it or take it.
Well, and the Riley scouting report was probably saying that, that he has to shoot the ball. So anytime he passed it, they probably felt that was a success.
Well, it might have been a win for them. But,
yes.
But then at the end, Riley's athleticism was just too much. And then St. Joe played the first game, and St. Joe Adams, St. Joe just played really well. Ryder Place. St. Joe's Ethan Roseman has had some groin issues and has been out for probably three quarters of the season, and has come back for the sectional. And in his play, this is not a play on words. In his place, Ryder Place started, and Ryder Place is as good as any guard in South Bend.
He was a pleasant surprise.
Well, no, he had 5 threes. He had 5 threes against Adams.
Yeah,
and then that sets up for the big game. Riley and St. Joe, and Riley St. Joe,
and that was a 10-point game. Riley was ahead for 2.5 quarters.
Riley was up by 9 at the end of the third quarter.
Okay,
and I know that I know CB just popped in here. CB, come on over, man. We have the great CB Gavin, and I'm just talking about the Riley St. Joe game right now.
Let's go to a break, and we'll get him set up. How's that sound? We'll be right back.
Finding private health insurance can be stressful. What if it didn't have to be? I'm Tony Letcher, licensed insurance agent. I prefer to personally meet with my clients so I can get a better understanding of your needs and budget. I can even review your current coverage. I don't want you to be my client today. I want you to be my client forever. Call Tony Letcher today to schedule your free consultation or visit tletcher.com.
Hahn Funeral Homes in Mishawaka continues its tradition of families serving families. They provide burial, cremation, and pet cremation with compassionate personal care. Families have long trusted Hahn to guide them through life's hardest moments. Learn more by clicking the link in the show description.
Looking to get your driver's license? Bricks Driving School in Mishawaka makes it easy. Take the official Indiana State driving exam right there in-house for just $65. No formal driver's education required.
If you're 16 years and 270 days old, and you've held an Indiana learner's permit for at least 180 days, you're eligible. For more information, the link is in the video description.
The Harbor Group Planned Wealth helps you answer the big questions like when to draw Social Security, how to manage investment risk, and what health insurance might cost. Wondering if you can earn part-time income after 62 without losing benefits, or if retiring could actually feel like getting a raise.
For more information and for information about all of our partners, see the links in the show description and make sure to tell them that Coach's Corner with Heck and King sent you.
Back with more Coach's Corner with Heck and King. Thanks as always to the Black Sedan Band for the music coming in and out of these breaks. If you're interested in booking them, that you travel, head on over to blacksedanband.com and give a special shout out to their drummer, who happens to be Heck's brother. And now, here's more Heck and King.
I know you like that tune, man. I know you like that tune. That's a little stuff back in the day, right?
Now you're trying to get me to tell my age.
No. You're the young pup here. You're the young pup. You and Johnny Overmar, Johnny Be Good. You're the young pups. Me and Pat hit the 7-0. You ain't hit 7-0 yet, have you?
This summer.
All right, man. And here's what I want to tell you. It's a privilege to hit 7-0.
It's not all bad.
Yes, it is. It's a blessing, man.
It is a privilege to hit 7-0. This is the great CB Gavin, currently the athletic director at Riley High School, has been in the past the athletic director for the South Bend Community Schools. How many years did you do that?
2 years.
So when you did that, what was the main focus of that job?
Well, the first day I got there, I wanted to introduce that we need to get more heavily involved in strength and conditioning. I did some work with some local people to try to figure out, what will it take to get the entire corporation involved in strength and conditioning. Reached out to a couple of companies like Beacon and the company over in Elkhart. What is it, OSMC? If I'm not.
Yeah, OSMC.
Yeah, and just get a general idea how much it would cost a year. And it was a 2-year effort that we worked on, man. And somehow, some way, it got dropped by the side.
You're kidding me.
No.
That is, strength training and putting a strength coach in the high schools or a strength teacher is in vogue with everybody now. You go to Indianapolis, you go to Mishawaka High School, and the football players can take strength training during the day.
Right.
And South Bend Community Schools, you put that together and they dropped the ball on it.
Someone dropped the ball. I don't know who, but someone dropped the ball.
Yeah, was it financially motivated that they couldn't do it from that standpoint?
No, it wasn't. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, no, I know
South Bend schools because I'm a product of South Bend schools. But when administrations change, things happen. Some things get left behind. And to me, I think that's what really happened.
Yeah, but you have to go back. You can't. How can you say you're a product of South Bend Community Schools? How can you say that when I'm looking right there, St. Patrick? You're a product of St. Pat's, ain't you?
Yeah, I went to St. Pat's from 4th grade to 7th grade. Had some good ball going on then too, man. And I got caught up in that. Your peers always want to talk about, well, you're only good because you play against Catholic League boys, but man, they don't realize that guys like John Laskowski and Tom Abernathy and Paul Fretlake and those type of guys, man, came through the Catholic League. Man,
you're forgetting one.
Yeah, I forgot about Ron Hicklin.
Thank you, man. St. John the Baptist.
I was just a little guy, man, trying to find my way.
You weren't a little guy, man. You were lanky. You were lanky. You were really good.
Was he ever a little guy?
Well, no, and I was. My dad used to call me High Pockets because I was tall and thin and everything. And and I think Mike Ladewski's going to come in here tonight.
Really?
I think Jimmy Godach is coming in here tonight.
Well, I don't want to cut you off, but Jimmy Godach is how I was in the 5th grade. I think in 5th or 6th grade at St. Pat's, and Herb Zickers was the coach. and he came in the locker room and said, if we can stop Gadash, we'll win this game. Who wants to hold him? Nobody raised their hand. I wanted to play. I said, I'll do it. I got kicked all over the place, man. I got schooled, but I wanted to play, man. And after that, Coach Zickers had me in the lineup every day. I was in the 5th grade, dressing 7th, 8th grade basketball.
No, you got PT.
Yeah.
No, and all you got to do is guard Jimmy Gadash to get PT.
Yeah. that's
Hell
all I had
yeah,
to
I'd be guarding Jimmy Gadash. No, ask him. Ask him who he guarded. This is the best story.
I love this story.
It's
Yeah.
not.
This is the best
it's not a good story.
And
at
only
all.
thing I'm going to say to like preview it, or is that Pat King held Larry Bird to 28 points.
Oh,
Because
you only
Pat-
played 1/2, right?
No, 4 minutes. Go ahead, Pat. Tell him, Pat.
Yeah, he had 28 at the half. That's it. The coach came down and said, "Who can guard this guy?" And I said, "I can." And he put me in for 4 minutes.
That's right, man. Hey, not to take over the show, but man,
You're
talk
taking
about-
over the show already, man.
No. Hey, man, you talk about guys like Larry Bird who came through Indiana, and then I remember watching. I had to give up basketball in the 9th grade because of medical condition, but I remember guys like Kyle Macy.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about Leskowski, Abernathy,
Exactly.
man, Kent Allison, Pat Magley, Bruce Graham, man. I mean, some awesome guys came through Northern Indiana, and I don't think we'll ever see that group. And Jimmy Webb, and I don't think you'll ever see that type of group again. Your buddy who just passed away, not too
Dave
long ago,
Kuzmich.
he was a good friend of mine, Dave Kuzmich. Yeah,
Yeah.
we played on the same Babe Ruth team together. He caught and I pitched.
Yeah, no, back in the day, on game night, we went at each other tooth and nail, man.
Yes.
On game night, and you know this from playing at Anderson and Madison Heights and all those and that stuff.
Sure.
But when the game was over, everybody was cool, and the next day we'd go on the playground.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
in the wintertime, we would cut the tips off our gloves.
Yes.
We'd shovel off the Colfax courts and all those courts.
Yes.
And the balls we had, the outdoor balls, we'd play so much that all the little nipples would come off and the ball would be so slick. Remember that?
Yep. Yes,
And
I
if you
do.
could shoot on the outdoor playground, you could shoot anywhere.
You can shoot anywhere. That's right.
Yeah. And so your freshman year, you go to Central,
I
right?
went to Central, yes.
And I think the story is a little bit where Coach Donewald of St. Joe tried to get you to come to St. Joe, right?
Man, he, God bless him, man. He called because my older brother was at St. Joe at the time, and
What was his name?
Steve Gavin.
Yes.
And
Yes.
he would come home and tell my parents. Coach Donewald asked. I'm telling my nickname. Coach Donewald asked about PD again. What is he going to do? And so my dad didn't say anything to me. My mother was really pushing me hard to go to St. Joe. I ended up going to Central. And
Yeah. So why didn't you go to St. Joe?
I don't know, man. I was just trying.
Your friends and all that kind of stuff. went
Follow
to
my
Central?
neighborhood friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we made a bet. They said I couldn't do what I did in the Catholic League and the Public League. Proved them wrong, though.
Yeah.
Proved them wrong.
So on that Central team, that 9th grade Central team, who were some of the players on there? And okay, listen to these names, John, and see if you remember any of these names.
The best athlete in the entire city at that time was in the 9th grade, Greg Robertson.
Greg Robertson.
Kevin Childress.
Oh yeah, remember that? Yeah.
Donnie Neely.
Yes.
Yes.
Patrick Moore. Who else? Kevin Walker.
And they all ended up playing at LaSalle, right?
Yes.
Yes.
They all end up at LaSalle. And then
They closed Central and sent everybody to LaSalle pretty much.
They turned Central into a middle school, and everyone went to LaSalle except for Jimmy Webb. He went to
Adams.
He went to Adams.
Okay.
And was this close to going to St. Joe?
That's the story.
That is a true story. Jimmy Webb's mother and St. Joe were talking, and everybody thought Jimmy was going to go to St. Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, Jimmy ended up going to Adams with his friends. But if you can imagine that lineup with Laz and Abernathy and Kuzmits and throw Jimmy Webb into that thing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Ronnie Eklinski would never have ever played.
Oh yeah. And what about if CB Gavin would have made it over there? You think he could have played?
No. And we've talked about this, but the unfortunate thing for you then, I mean, tell our listeners what happened to you, how your career got derailed. Anyway, I mean, because you never ended up playing high school basketball.
No. I don't talk about it much because, people don't believe half of anything of what you say and half of what they see.
Yeah, but I know it. I mean, I know it's true.
I'll never forget it. It was first week before, because we always open up at Warsaw. And it was Robert Warren and myself. We were starting guards. I was a sophomore going into my sophomore year. And it was me, Robert Warren, David Heron, Jim Nowicki.
David Heron was 6'8".
Yeah.
Jimmy Nowicki was 6'5".
Yeah.
And we called him Hawk.
Yep. And Otha Burns, a 6'4" forward.
Otha Burns.
It was back in the day when we used to practice in the morning.
Yeah, we did too.
And I wasn't feeling well, and I was underneath the basket, and I told Coach Leonakis that I didn't feel well. He just told me to go sit down. When the nurse came in, he sent me to the nurse. I had a temperature of 101.
Okay.
So my dad came and picked me up, took me home. He said, if you're not feeling better when I get off work, I'll take you to the emergency room. Well, he took me to the emergency room. The family doctor at the time was out of town. He came back that next day. He examined me. They put me in a ambulance, sent me to Raleigh Hospital. I spent 7 months down there.
Oh, dear.
And they said I had some type of rare heart disease they had never seen before. But I'm blessed, man. I was 15. I'll be 70 this year. And so I'm blessed. I think about it.
You're still here, right?
I'm still here. I don't know what good I'm doing here, but I'm still here. I think about it every day because I love to compete. I love to play. And I just hate to see kids do not take advantage of the gift that God has blessed them with.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. And everybody, I mean, including everybody sitting here, we've all taken something for granted, right?
Yes.
We had a bad day at practice, or the coach was jumping on us. I'll never forget this. For 3 straight days, I was a junior. For 3 straight days, I came home and whined to my dad at the supper table because you're right, we practiced in the morning.
Yes.
So we could all eat supper as a family.
Yeah.
And Coach Donewald's all this. Coach Donewald ain't playing me, blah, 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 blah. For 3 straight days, I whined like a little 5th grade schoolgirl. On the 3rd day, my dad says, get your bag, let's go. Well, my dad was my coach at St. John's,
yes.
So we used to practice at Lafayette Gym.
Yep.
I'm thinking my dad's going to take me to Lafayette Gym and work me out, get my confidence level back, because I'm whining like a little baby. We go past Lafayette School. I said, hold the phone, Dad. Where are you going? He said, I'm taking you to Coach Donewald's house. I said, stop. I said, why? He said, you're quitting. I said, what do you mean I'm quitting? He said, I am tired of you coming home and whining. That guy is a Hall of Fame coach, and if you ain't tough enough to play for him, you're quitting.
Yeah.
And I'm crying I'm trying to jump out. He's got the automatic door locks on. I can't even get out. I can't escape from Alcatraz. And so we're a block away. He pulls over on the side of the road. He says, here's the deal. You ever come home and whine about your coach again, and you're done. So our dads were so cool back in the day, right? That's how they did that. Now tell the story about your dad in baseball, because you've told me this story many times, and what your dad did to you in baseball.
The umpire was actually, it was the mayor of South Bend at the time, Jerry Miller. He was a volunteer umpire, and he rung me up. I didn't swing. He caught me looking, rung me up. I got so mad, man. I threw my helmet, threw my bat. I said, let me tell you something. Don't you ever embarrass this family like that again, because you're not that good.
Blanking good.
Yeah, he said, if you don't want to strike out, you need to practice. that's how we grew up, though.
Yeah, no, 100%.
How old were you? Was this like 12-year-old little league? Or?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
12. I was 12. True story. I had 4 B's, 2 A's, and a D. I got a D in English, and my dad took my uniform. I couldn't play in the city championship game.
Really?
The junior high coach, Coach Samala, he begged my father. He's the best shooter on the team. He said, "Well, evidently he can't speak English.
Because he got a D in it.
So he won't be playing tomorrow."
No, I don't know how your dad was with grades, or John, I don't know how your dad was with grades. I brought home A's and B's. I bring a C home in trigonometry.
Oh,
Now, I can't even spell trigonometry. I bring a C. My dad looks at the card. He said, "What do you think that C stands for?" I said, "Well, Dad, look to the right. It says it's average." He said, "No, it's crummy in my book. It stands for crummy. And I don't ever want to see that again." But and I know Big Pat was just like that on YouTube.
There were expectations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unspoken.
Yeah.
You just knew.
Yeah, 100% you knew.
You just knew.
And I should have known because I had 2 older brothers that were phenomenal, grew up before, and I saw them go through it all. But we all got our own trials to go through, and we all got to learn in our own ways.
That's true.
Let me ask you a question. You're talking about practicing early in the morning at Central. Where did Central practice?
They had a gym.
Is that the gym is still right there closest
they had
to
a
William
gym.
Street,
It
right?
wasn't, it wasn't that big. It was regulation size, but they had a gym.
Because I'd heard people talk. I think maybe Hadaway had told me back when he was at Central, they went to the Rockney Center to practice back in the day.
I don't remember that, but we practiced right there in the gym.
How about football? Where did football practice?
School field behind
School field. They walked.
They walked. They walked to practice.
Walked
got
right down
dressed
through
over there.
downtown.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And
Or rode your bicycles, whatever.
no, you had to walk.
You had to walk.
You had to walk. Wasn't riding no bicycle. You had to walk to practice.
Yeah, and so
you had to be
then,
on time.
yeah, and so then, well, no, and I played football at St. Joe too for a while. People and I don't know why this happened, CB, but people today, everybody got to have water. Everybody got to have water. Guys going. I played for Father Blott, and we got 3 splashes out of a planting bucket that they would water flowers with. He'd come by, he'd give you 3 splashes of water for a 2-hour practice. Plus, they gave you a salt tablet. Now, salt tablets today are taboo.
Right.
I mean, they're taboo.
I remember the salt tablets.
But we never had access to water.
I never remember even getting any water breaks, man.
And today, it's a medical thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, if your football coach at South Bend Riley doesn't give the kids water, you're jumping his butt.
It's IHSA violation.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, okay. And now fast forward.
Okay.
Man, you as a kid, that's all that mattered to you, man. Competing, playing, whatever sport it was. Now, at age almost 70, it's the business you're in, man.
Yeah.
You're taking care of kids. How cool is that, right?
The biggest joy I get out of my job is no matter what kind of what athlete it is, what a student athlete is, the biggest joy I get is when they stop by the office and say, "Hey, Mr. Gavin, I just want to come in and say hello." And we're dealing with all kind of kids, man. If this culture would just understand that everybody's dealing with a different variety of kids, man. We have kids that come to school, man, that barely have anything. You know what I'm saying? And they're some of the best kids you ever want to find. But I enjoy working with kids, and sometimes I get a little upset with kids, but I get more upset with the coaches if they're not developing the kids the right way, because high school is just a stepping stone, man. It's not even the beginning of your life. It's just part of your life. It's a stepping stone, and our job is to prepare them. I tell kids all the time, man, don't take this for granted. I said, one day I was playing, the next day it was over. Don't take it for granted. And
that's exactly what we were. That's the point we were making. But it's human nature. It's human nature when stuff ain't going our way, right? And it's human nature. And then once you figure that out, either your parent helps you figure it out, or you mature to a certain level that you figure life out. you don't take anything for granted.
I'll be like I said, I'll be 70 this year. There's not a day that don't go by. I say,
Put your mic up. There's so many people that want to hear you.
there's not a day that don't go by, man, where I say, man, Daddy told me that. You know, it's always something that happened each and every day that reminds me of the advice that my father gave me. And I was like, man, he was right.
I mean, like when you were young, did you go through those kind of life lessons, John?
Oh, absolutely. There were so many expectations. I could play, but I had to meet an academic standard.
Mhm.
You're a student athlete, and the underline was student. Bring home A's and B's. If I brought home a C, not good enough. If it was a hard C, that was a little different because there were probably things that I wasn't as strong at. But I brought home a D, you're done.
Yeah.
You're done because school is important. The athletics was important, and my dad was competitive too. But academics came first, and that was the expectation. Otherwise, I had to turn my uniform in.
Why did you get into education and dealing with kids?
Kind of like with CB, I want to see kids develop and grow and try to become better people. They're going to be our future leaders. You know, we're all at retirement age. You know, we all want to enjoy life. We got to have somebody eventually take over for us. But we have to do that. And I've got kids in my class that today said, hey, Mr. Overmeyer, thank you.
Yeah.
For being you and helping me out. There's my paycheck right there. Yeah, I get paid for teaching curriculum, but like what Stevie said, when they come to his office, say, "Hey, Mr. Gavin, how are you?"
Yeah.
That's my paycheck because I've influenced that youngster to be a better person in the community, and that's what my focus is as an educator.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. Is that how you felt, Pat, when you were doing it?
Well, you know, just think about how many, and you mentioned it. Think how many times these kids they like that attention. Because they don't get it at home.
They need, yeah.
And a lot of time that attention is the scoreboard for them playing basketball or playing football.
Yes.
Unfortunately, where we have them in a much subtle situation, we're just stopping by, seeing them in the hallway. That's one of the reasons, heck, and I've always talked about coaches. It's so important to have coaches as teachers
In the building.
in the building,
yeah.
because there's so much that goes on between 8 o'clock and 3 o'clock that you can't, you can control if you're there.
Well, here's a good example. I'm at the alternative school. I'm at Rise Up. We're going to do a staff student volleyball game at the end of the month. So the kids are practicing, and I'm in there helping practice and stuff. And it's amazing to see these kids in a classroom setting. And these are some kids that come from difficult situations, from home, whatever the situation might be. They were having so much. They're getting at it yesterday. I mean, they were really getting after it. And it's going to be teachers and stuff versus, but the kids were lit up, man. This is cool. This is fun. I want to be here. And just giving them that opportunity to do that is making these kids shine, and hopefully that will carry on when they graduate.
Okay, let me ask you this question, because depending on how you answer this, maybe if I come to watch the match.
Yeah.
Are you playing front row, middle row, or back row?
You're going to have to come and find out. I'm going to
Because
tease
if
you
you're
that way.
playing front, I want to see you elevating and knocking it. I want that elbow back and you knocking it out.
You just have to show up on March 27th.
I may do that. I mean, and for me, I had two older brothers go before me that went into teaching and coaching. And I loved to play. I loved to play basketball. And I just thought, what else would I want to do? I wasn't good enough to go over to Europe and play. I wasn't good enough to do any of that kind of stuff. So when I talked about, for the next 50 years, and it's crazy to think that, but Pat and I know this, for the next 48 years, Pat and I went to work every day in gym shorts.
Yeah.
And tennis shoes and some kind of a pullover.
Right.
We never went to work in shirts, in ties and suits.
Nope.
We had a job to influence kids, and there were times, and I don't know if you felt this, but there were times when I was particularly hard on a certain individual. When I would teach or talk about blocking out, man, you got to block out, man, you got to block out, man, you got to block out. And about the third time, man, you got to block out, you got to raise your voice, you got to get into them a little bit. And there was no demeaning, but I used to coach hard. And I know Pat coached hard too. And there were times when I got home, and then at 8 o'clock that night, I would call that player. I'd call him and I said, listen, Bobby, when I jumped on you today had nothing to do with you as a person, had nothing to do with you as a young man, and it had everything to do with you not blocking out. And that's my job to try and teach you, to do that. But I want you to know what a fine person you are, and don't ever think that I'm doing that to you because I don't like you as an individual or a human being. And that would eat at me until I would make that call. And I did that a lot.
Well, you can go back to the old cliche to tell kids, when I quit yelling at you, that's when you need to be worried.
Yeah.
Because that means I've basically given up on you.
Well, yeah, but that's not necessarily true because my mom used to say that to me. When I quit hollering at you, I say, Ma, you ain't never quit hollering at me. So I don't want to hear that.
CB, let me ask you a Riley question.
Yes, sir.
As the AG, just day-to-day stuff, how do you beat the bushes? How do you get kids in the hallway to participate? Because that's one of the biggest things, especially in South Bend, is getting kids active in sports. And one reason I'm talking about that, let's talk about spring sports, for example. Last week we had Robert Falcons on, and he mentioned, because I was asking him baseball questions, because that's what that's his specialty down in Indianapolis. He said, and he gave us the example of the little leagues in Indianapolis. There used to be 20 some little leagues. He's talking about there's no more free baseball. Travel ball has basically killed little leagues. And he said they're down to 2 little leagues in Indianapolis. He said, and that's just one example. Same thing here in South Bend. There's the little leagues. How do you get kids at Riley to go play baseball? How do you get girls to go play softball, for example? How do you get kids to come run track?
Well, one of the things that I did intentionally this year is that I kind of rearranged some of our coaches. We had coaches who were coaching more than one sport. And so we have to be intentional about how we get into the elementary schools. It's just like a kid entering into kindergarten, you got to teach them the different colors and stuff. And the same thing with sports. We have to teach, not teach, but we have to treat sports like it's a curriculum. We have to get into the elementary school, introduce ourselves as a person who love kids, but also once you get that attention, I think the most important thing, you have to grab a hold of the parent and find out what parent is really involved in their child's life. But also, we have to not only get the parent involved, but just introduce kids starting in the second and third grade, just some basic stuff to see if they like it. Mm-hmm. Think about this. Right now, when I was growing up, there was a baseball field in every city park.
Park League.
Yeah.
We had Park League.
Yes. And in every neighborhood.
Exactly.
And right now we have none.
Exactly. You're hitting the nail on the head.
Yeah, we have none. And the only park in this community right now, in the South Bend community, that has only public park that has a baseball field is right over on the southeast side of town. They just created Foundry Field. And there's a mural of my dad over there. And so we are intentionally trying to get neighborhood kids to come out and watch baseball on a Sunday. Mm-hmm. And not only that, you're getting kids to come out, but you're getting families to come out to enjoy it. So you have to get the entire family to buy into what you're trying to introduce.
It's definitely a family event, that's for sure.
Yeah, hey, I want to go in another direction just for a couple minutes here, because we got to get to a lot of stuff, and I'm so thankful that you were able to take a couple minutes out of your day. The South Bend sectional with Riley against St. Joe, what a tough game that was. What an effort by both the Riley kids and the St. Joe kids. And what a class. I mean, both teams putting it out there, guys on the floor, other players from other teams helping guys up. I vividly remember seeing Isaiah Packer help a St. Joe kid up. They dove on each other. They're playing their asses off, but the sportsmanship in that game was phenomenal from my standpoint. Now, I don't know if that would have always been like that at Riley. I know Alex Daniels is a wonderful young man. When I was coaching at Anderson, he was a point guard at Muncie Central. I know you've been there for a while. So I think the culture that you have established at Riley, great sportsmanship to people acting the right way and stuff like that, I think that's I think you and your staff should really be commended for that.
Well, I appreciate the compliment, but it starts at the top. It starts with our principal, Mr. Henderson. And the thing that we instill into our kids is that you never know who's watching. So always remember, be on your best behavior, show a good character. And what I mean by you never know who's watching, if you really want to go to the next level, you don't know what coach may be in the building.
100%.
And how you carry yourself on the court, because somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose. That's going to happen every day, every night, or whenever the ball is thrown up. But they want to see how you carry yourself on the court. That goes a long way. I'll give you a prime example of that. I was coming out of Martin's, man. And
you saw me. We see each other in the morning.
All the time.
How many times you buy me a coffee? Tell that story.
All the time.
Oh, no, one time. Okay, thanks, man. You're an administrator. You should be buying me a coffee every other day, man. So I'm retired.
I was coming out of Martin's one day and with a friend of mine, and at the time, the Notre Dame recruiting coordinator was Rob Aiello. And he stopped me and he said, I had my nephew's football jersey on. He said, what do you know about that kid? And I just laughed. I said, why you asked that question? He said, I'm just curious. I said, well, that's my nephew. He said, I'm going to tell you something, man. That kid's got the total package. I said, what do you mean? He said, man, he got the grades. He can go anywhere in the country, not where he has to go. He can go where he want to go. So that stuck with me. So I try to carry that into my job, let kids know, hey, man, put yourself in a position where you go where you want to go, not where you have to go.
Yeah, I think that's great sentiment. And one of my great friends used to be Jack Kiefer at Lawrence North. And Tom Izzo came in and recruited Chris Hill. Chris Hill ended up going to Michigan State, played basketball for Michigan State. And Tom Izzo was telling Jack, he said, can you get me 3 or 4 tapes of Chris? I want to take him back with me. That's when we were doing VHS tapes. And Jack's in the closet going through, and he says, what's taking you so long? He said, Coach, I'm trying to find his best games so you can see him at his best. He said, whoa. He said, I want to see him in his worst games. He said, I know he can play. I want to see how he handles adversity.
Yeah.
I want to see when things aren't going well, how he reacts. And that always stuck with me because as coaches, we want to show them, oh, man, you see this 360? You see this, blah, blah. They want to see how you handle adversity. And as we all move forward in life, I think that's one of the big keys in how people judge us is how we handle adversity.
If I may say this, the starting point guard for Riley, DeCorey Parker.
Okay, first of all, before you say this, I'm going to tell you this. One of the best freaking little guards I have seen since my Anderson days. You can't take it from him. He handles it. He's so low to the ground. You can't guard him. If you go skin to skin, he's going to blow by you. If you back off, he's going to make a 3. Phenomenal player.
He was finally fully healthy tournament time. Man, that kid, man, what you see on the court, you see the same thing off the court. His demeanor never changed. After that heartbreaking loss, man, he was in the gym the next day.
Yeah, I love hearing that.
He had a ball in his hand and a jug of water.
I love hearing that because the people that I will talk to in the game, and great people in the game, I'll pass that along. I'll pass that story along because I don't know what level he can be recruited as because his initial size, he's what, 5'9"?
5'9", 5'10".
Yeah, but when I hear stuff like that,
right,
that's what they want to hear.
And when I left the building today, he was in the weight room.
Good for him, man.
Man, the kid is he's a gem, man. I love him to death. But I love all those kids, man. All those kids, man, got 3.0 or better GPAs.
That's phenomenal.
We didn't even know Tree Johnson played the whole second half with a concussion.
Yeah, I know.
Blood
He
rolling down
got
his face.
cut. He had blood coming all everywhere, and yeah, he's
I saw pictures.
he's
of
a
the
little
blood.
stud too, by the way.
Yeah.
He's 6'2". If Tree Johnson was 6'5",
Uh-huh.
he'd be a big time stud.
Yeah, he'd be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He hadn't been in school all week. But those are the type of kids that we all look for.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna tell you something, man. Alex does a great job keeping them under control.
I think he does too.
He does he feed them, he takes care of them, he brings them out to his house. I never heard a kid say this about a coach before until Marvin Schindler, who graduated last year. They did a feature on Marvin, and he said, Coach Alex, he's my best friend.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
I was jealous. I was like, man, I wish somebody say I'm their best
Hey, you
friend.
bring me some donuts from. Okay, you bring me some coffees now, and I'll throw your stuff out there. Oh yeah, CB, he's my best friend. He's the best, man. He's the best.
funny.
Hey, listen, I want to thank you for coming in, man. From when we were kids playing against each other and just on the playgrounds, and then seeing each other back in the 70s. It wasn't always great when we talk about racial indifferences and stuff like that. But with guys that I hung with, Jimmy Robinson, you, Gary Scott, we didn't know. We didn't
just
know
wanted to
color.
play,
We
man.
didn't know it.
We just wanted to play.
We
man.
just balled, man. And I
still
thought it
owe
was
you though,
great.
because you beat me up too much, man.
No, man, come on.
You took advantage of me. I was just a little kid, man.
Just stop, and now you're bigger than me, man.
But I'm too old, man.
Hey, you got Jimmy Goddard, you got Mike Ledusky, you got some Dennis Jordan over there. Go say hi to the St. Joe
I
boys,
sure
man.
will, man.
Thank you so much, Pat. Why don't you take us to a break,
I can do that.
and then we'll come
Thanks,
back.
CD. Let me get this taken care of.
Medicare plans can be confusing, but they don't have to be. I'm Tony Letcher, licensed insurance agent. I can help you compare your options because I'm appointed with many nationally recognized carriers. With my help, you can find the coverage that fits your needs and budget. I don't want you to be my client today. I want you to be my client forever. Call Tony Letcher today to schedule your free consultation or visit tletcher.com.
Looking to get your driver's license? Frick's Driving School in Mishawaka makes it easy. Take the official Indiana State driving exam right there in-house for just $65. No formal driver's education required.
If you're 16 years and 270 days old, and you've held an Indiana learner's permit for at least 180 days, you're eligible. For more information, the link is in the video description.
On Funeral Homes in Mishawaka continues its tradition of families serving families. They provide burial, cremation, and pet cremation with compassionate personal care. Families have long trusted Han to guide them through life's hardest moments. Learn more by clicking the link in the show description. The Harbor Group Planned Wealth helps you answer the big questions like when to draw Social Security, how to manage investment risk, and what health insurance might cost. Wondering if you can earn part-time income after 62 without losing benefits, or if retiring could actually feel like getting a raise.
For more information and for information about all of our partners, see the links in the show description and make sure to tell them that Coach's Corner with Heck and King sent you.
Back again with more Coach's Corner. Shout out, as always, to the Black Sedan Band. Now in their... Well, they've been with us since the start. We'll just say that. They do travel, so if you're interested in booking a great cover band, go to blacksedanband.com, or you can check them out on YouTube after you're done watching us, of course. Now here's more Heck and King.
Are you desperate for this stuff?
Hey,
obviously something.
Where did you go to high school?
Never seen
we are back. We are back, man. We got some people in here sitting next to me. To my right is the great Jimmy Goddard.
Great. He was great.
The great Jimmy Goddard, guard for St. Joe. At the time, had long, beautiful blonde hair, man. I don't know where it went, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Next to Jimmy, we got the great Dennis Jordan, another St. Joe ex-basketball player. And you got to slide over a little more because we got to get Big Mike in the picture.
No, you don't have to. It's going to break the camera.
On the right of Dennis is the great Mike Ledusky, South Bend St. John Spartan. St. Joe basketball guys.
Yeah.
St. Joe basketball guys.
You realize I used to coach St. John's?
I did not know that.
I did B time.
Well, no, I'm glad you didn't coach me because I wouldn't have played. I played because my dad was a coach, man. Come on.
Possibly.
Come on, man.
I coached a B team and I did a couple years varsity.
That's really cool, man.
There is a cool story.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, one of the stories that I told when I got inducted into the Hall of Fame last year at about this time was when I was at St. John's, and I was a 7th grader. And, of course, my dad, his twin brother, and Ziggy Robleski were coaches. And I started on the 8th grade team as a 7th grader.
Yes, you did.
And I wasn't any good, but we had a great 8th grade team. Mike Ledusky, Timmy Kajowski, Bob Weller, Greg Dragonsky. We had a great team.
And
That's a really good player.
And myself. Everybody on that team had white high top Chucky Taylors.
Yes, we did.
Everybody did. And I never really thought about it, but after like the second game, I looked down and I got white high top Kmart tennis shoes on. Now, my dad's a dentist, right? So it wasn't an economic thing or a financial deal that my dad couldn't afford to get me those, white high top Chucky Taylors.
Probably why you couldn't jump.
100%. I was running on cardboard from Kmart's. So I asked my dad, I told this story at the induction ceremony. I asked my dad, I said, hey, Dad, do you think sometime you could get me a pair of white high top Chucky Taylors? And he was as serious as a heart attack. My dad was really cool, serious as a heart attack. And he said, Ronnie, I don't mean any disrespect to Kmart, but right now in your life, you got a Kmart game. I said, what?
Wow.
He said, you don't work. He said, you don't work hard. He said, you never want to stay after and have Ziggy throw you some passes. All you're interested in doing is getting in the car and going home. Maybe if you start working a little harder, maybe I'll get you some Chucky Taylors.
Wow.
Now,
Good story.
Now he didn't berate. It was a great way to tell me to get my ass in gear. Right. 2 weeks later, I'm just like, Big Mike Ledusky. I got a pair of white high top Chucky Taylors. But I kind of think that that's kind of how it was back in that day. People were not afraid. Either your parents or maybe some of the coaches, and definitely Coach Donald, they were not afraid to maybe bruise our egos a little bit and tell us how it really was, right?
Exactly. And, it was tough love. I mean, I won't go into Ziggy, threatening us with his shoe up our what, but, that was a regular comment in practice that went on all the time. The one thing you made me think of, I have to add, is I live in the Chicago area now, and people ask me, tell me about some of your upbringing. I go, well, think of this for my neighborhood. Ledusky, Kujawski, Jurgonsky, Heklinski, these, how you got all these ski names. It's a good Polish neighborhood that we grew up with and have great memories from.
Yeah, 100%. And your dad, did some coaching at Christ the King.
Yes, he did.
And I'm pretty sure, because I remember your dad, I'm pretty sure he was never afraid not to bruise your ego, right?
No, he was never worried about that. It's just like these guys. Any mistake you made, you knew about after the game. And if you ever made an excuse, it was a long ride home. You learn never to say, oh, I didn't do that. Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Made a nice play. Yeah, swell, you're supposed to.
Yeah, no, act like you've been there. Act like you've been there.
Yeah.
And so who did you play for at St. Cash?
Well, guy by the name of Bob Storm, who was a
standout. I remember.
Standout athlete at Adams. Left-handed pitcher, played on the basketball team, got drafted by the Minnesota Twins. I think he made it as high as 3A. So my 7th grade year, we didn't have a coach. I mean, after my 7th grade year, we didn't have a coach.
With you shooting, they didn't need one.
No, not true.
No, they didn't know. Well, here's the deal. They didn't need a shooting coach because Jimmy taught them all how to shoot.
Well, I mean, we got to think about talent and everything else. But anyway, so I met him at the South Bend Y playing basketball with a lot of great ball players back then too, you know. So he goes, he called me thin man because I was pretty thin and stuff. And I said, we kind of developed a relationship. I said, hey, we're looking for a basketball coach. Would you come coach our team? Bigger than hell. I mean, he did it. He did it. Yeah. And his assistant was Tony Zappia.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Tony Zappia, a St. Joe guy.
St. Joe guy, baseball guy, really good baseball player.
Yeah. It was great, man. And then, of course, that was my 7th grade year when I asked him. So he was our 8th grade coach. So yeah, we had, I think we were about 5-5 or whatever, 500 or whatever. But we had a good year, man. I mean, but getting back to you guys at St. John's, you guys had a stud team, man, stud team.
No, and I didn't even talk about Shank.
Yeah, but Shank, Christ the King had a great team that year. Holy Cross had a great team that year. I think it was like you guys were.
St. Pat's had a really good team that year.
Yeah, well, we beat them.
And Corpus Christi, did you say?
Christ the King was okay.
Corpus Christi had a really good team.
Yeah, but I mean,
St. Anthony was good.
They were the other.
Other division.
St. Anthony's was real good, and St. Matthew's was too.
Yeah, but Corpus Christi and I'm going to say and who you're saying St. Stan's.
No,
St. Pat's.
St. Pat's. I mean, they weren't in your league, man.
Yes, they were.
No, I don't.
Yeah, we lost to all three. We lost to Holy Cross, St. Pat's, and Corpus Christi. We had 3 losses.
Before Ronnie got his
no, after I got the Chuckies, we ran the table. I'm just saying, we ran the table.
I didn't think they were that good.
Yeah. I mean, going out the door. So this is what my life was like. So going out the door every Sunday, because my dad would leave early because we'd have to get there early and everything. My mom would look at me. She'd say, Ronnie, when they throw you the ball, try not to fall down today. Wow. She would say that all the time. And when she was 80, I would always say that to her.
Even after you got your Chuck Taylors?
No. I didn't slide anymore. The cardboard was off the court.
Bottom line, you got to keep those nice shoes.
So one of the things that I think our listeners would, and I've talked about this on this show, the broadcasting of the St. Joe games this year, the regional radio sports net, and how we had to come up with money to do that, and how our St. Joe brotherhood of ex-players just literally came out of the woodwork and started just saying, yes, I'll do it. John Laskowski, put me in for 3 games. Larry Davis, put me in for 3 games. Tom Abernathy, Abernathy and Canfield, put me in. Jimmy, put me in. All of them. Tom Dolphinback, put me in. And we were able to broadcast the games. We were able to broadcast the games in the memory of Dave Kuzmits, one of our teammates who passed away, and we broadcast those games in his memory. This is what I read 5 times a game, and Mike put this together for me.
Did you?
Yeah. Tonight's game is brought to you by members of the early 1970s St. Joe High School basketball teams honoring teammate Dave Kuzmits, who recently passed after a courageous battle with cancer. Dave was a key member of 3 teams that won a sectional and 2 conference championships. Dave then played for 4 years at Notre Dame and then began successful careers in teaching and refereeing while living in Boston. Dave's teammates would like to recognize him for his leadership and friendship over the years, and also recognize the recent St. Joe basketball team for their success. Memory of Dave Kuzmits will live on in the hearts of his St. Joe friends and teammates. And
that's well written, Mike. Thank you, man.
Purdue education.
No, that is a Purdue education, and he was a pharmacist, right?
Yes, I was.
Yep. No, we were dummies. You 2 guys were. You were firemen. You were kind of a dummy.
You had to be a dummy to run into fire.
Thank you for your service.
Hey guys, turn the hose on, okay? Okay, thanks.
Thank you for your service.
Aim it at the fire.
Yeah.
No, Jimmy, I'm just busting you up. But
no, it's all right.
But so being able to say this and talk about this, it's not like it was 10 years ago. Yeah. It was 50 years ago to be able to go to the well and talk to these guys and get this done. And I called Coach Donewald right before the season started, And I told him, I said, Coach, I said, man, all the things you did, assistant coaching on the Olympic team, a national championship with Bobby Knight at IU, coaching your brains out at Illinois State, winning games.
Western Michigan.
Except for the year that I was with you and screwed it up. Your tenure at Western Michigan. I said, but you know what your greatest success is, Coach? And in his squeaky little voice, what, Randy? I said, the brotherhood that you created in your 11 years at St. Joe. Because this is what happened. And I explained it to him. And I swear to you, you could hear him kind of sniffle a little bit. But he put that brotherhood together.
Absolutely.
And that's the reason why I was never, even halfway thinking, well, why am I doing this, man? Because these guys will all come to the pole here and they'll take care of this. And they did.
Yeah.
And I know you guys have listened to some of the games, right?
Yes.
And watched them.
I've listened. I can't say I've watched any, but listened to them.
Yeah, and Dave's wife in Boston.
Yeah.
She has sent me some text saying, "Oh, that is so cool," and blah blah blah. Because we have a picture of
She's
Dave.
actually been in tears listening to it.
Really?
Yes.
We have a picture of Dave in his funeral picture on the screen. We have a picture of him in his Notre Dame uniform and his St. Joe uniform.
Wow.
On the screen. And so obviously you guys know then the St. Joe's played their brains out.
Absolutely.
Sectional champs.
Right.
The difference from the first game to the sectionals, just incredible.
Yeah, 100% how much they've grown. And they're very, very well coached. They play in the regional now this Saturday
night, Northridge.
Against Northridge, who's 24-1.
Yeah.
And at Plymouth. So we are doing that game.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, we're doing that game. So make sure that you guys tune in.
What time is that game?
That game will start at 7.
7 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah, 7 o'clock South Bend time.
All right.
So make sure you tune in. Before we jump off of here and get my other guys on here, one St. Joe story. Give me a St. Joe story.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think I remember, I might have told this the other podcast, but all right, we were not playing very well. We had a bad practice or whatever. And I think Coach just had us, sit in the bleachers and stuff and start talking about, he just started like naming names and start picking guys out. So when he gets to me, he goes, Garach, he goes, you got more moves in the hallway than you do on the basketball floor. And I know all you guys are snickering and laughing and trying to hold it down, but yeah, I was just like,
okay, Coach.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I don't. You know what? I don't think that was really true, and I don't think he really meant that because when I think back, you were a freaking little warrior on the court. You played hard.
Yeah, I tried.
You got on the floor when you needed to get on the floor, and the one memory that I have, and I know Mike was there. On a Saturday, we were playing an open gym at St. Joe,
right?
And it was in the springtime.
Right.
I mean, we were just playing, and Jimmy goes down hard, and his freaking bone is sticking out of his.
Actually, that was Good Friday.
Yeah, it was not a good Friday for you.
No, but that was Good Friday.
A bone was sticking out, and you fractured your wrist.
Yeah. And guess I had a little breakaway, and guess who was defending me?
Who?
Coos.
No.
Yeah, that's why. And I flipped and came down, and I remember coming, like looking at my wrist, and it was like just like indented. And Bloom looks at me, and I said, "Here, pull it. I think it's jammed." He goes, "No." He got a towel and just covered it up. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I told you to keep playing.
No. I know what we said. Hey, Jimmy, get off the court. We got to keep running this game, man.
Pretty much.
Jimmy, get the hell off.
Yeah, you guys didn't stop.
Yeah. So what about you, Dennis?
There's two. One is with you. I always remember after school, when you're the 13th guy on a 12-man team, you used to rebound, and I'd have to hit you with the football blocking dummy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
I got a bad back today.
He's elbowing me in the face. I mean, it was combat.
You had a great career, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
So I remember the practice because you used to do screw up. And you have to run line drills. You have to go to that rebounding machine and jump.
Or you would do steps. Or jump rope.
Yeah.
So one day I had to do 2 of the rebounding machine things. And Donald came over and said, what the hell did you do?
Yeah, how did you get in trouble?
When you're the 13th guy, we don't even notice you. And it was I appreciated the candor and the admission that, yeah, you're really the last guy. And I loved it.
But the fact was that you were a part of the team.
Oh, no, I loved it. I loved being the 13th guy.
Nobody ever thought of you as the 13th guy.
Never.
We thought of our own selves as the 13th guy. I mean,
at some point y'all were.
I mean, we were.
Right.
I mean, we were going to get
week,
clocked.
man, week to week.
I think we were all in that position.
Yeah. What about you, Mike?
I got two quick ones before you go to break. First one is the fond memory of the fact of the competitiveness and the crowds that were at the sectionals. We were no class, and we filled the ACC at that time.
That was a great thing, man.
And I think even a few years after we were done in 73, South Bend Tribune did an analysis, and the year that we graduated in 73 were the most attended games of all time for the sectionals. That's how popular they were back then. Now you've got the class system, and it's much different. But we were filling the ACC.
11,000, I believe, about 11,000.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
11,000 back
Yeah.
during the sectionals at that time.
impressive.
Yeah, and also the Christmas tournament. Holiday tournament
was always there too.
Yeah.
The second story is Coach Donowald. So I was with you guys back October, November when Dave passed, and I was chirping about my beloved Purdue Boilermakers, how good they were going to be. I talked to Coach Donowald. Mike, they don't have enough athleticism. They're not good defensively. They're not going to be that good. Coach, they're preseason number one. I said, this is the year. Well, look who was right. Coach Donowald. He knew the team back then in November, and I was drinking the Kool-Aid and eating the humble pie now. But he's still on top of it, even at this point in his life.
Yeah, he was and coaching was obviously my business for 40 years. And when I look back to the things that we were doing in high school 50 years ago, help side defense and the way we were influencing people on where to drive and things like that he was doing, he was ahead of the curve.
Yes,
and he had to be ahead of the curve because when you talk about the players that were in this area and the coaches that he was going against, George Leonikis, Dave Hadaway, the great Subby Nowicki,
Jimmy Powers.
Jimmy Powers. Yeah.
Don Coddens.
Don Coddens. And I mean, Subby wanted you to go.
One Garty at Jackson, too?
Yeah, I think.
But Subby wanted you to come to Washington, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He did.
I mean, why did you go to St. Joe?
Because of the culture that he whatever created. It was amazing.
Jim wanted to play with me and with Coos. That's what it was. I think that's what the draw was.
I don't know if there was a love-hate situation there, but I know I didn't like these guys that much. But once we got to high school, everything was cool. But I mean, seriously, just the competitiveness, the fact that I don't know. I mean, it was totally unexpected, and it was like one of the best things I ever did in my whole damn life. I mean, there was it's a few things you could pick out, but just going to St. Joe, the relationships not only on basketball team, but in high school, the experiences, the teachers, the culture, everything. I mean, it's so profound.
Well, it's a different. You walk through the halls of St. Joe today, and then you walk through the halls of public school education today.
Yeah.
It's a place where you would certainly say, "This is where I want my child to go."
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what happened because we were all Catholic school kids.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so I think those days were phenomenal. The opportunities to hang with you guys on a daily basis, and it's not even like I see Rick Seal all the time at St. Joe games. Rick Seal is amazing, and and even how him and Vandy got thrown off their senior year because of some shenanigans that they did.
Right.
But Vandy and him, they have nothing negative to say about Coach.
No.
And they tell me all the time, hey, I mean, I did it,
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I thank you. I always thank you guys and think about you, and then thank you for the continued friendships that we have.
You know,
Thank you for what you're doing with the announcing and keeping a lot of this connection together.
Yeah, I you know what, coaching. I had that 40 years deal of coaching in college and high school and everything, but. You know, and a lot of people have asked me if would you want to still? I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I love doing this because we're still talking ball, and I'm still talking to you guys. You know, I talk to Dennis. I see Dennis at Martin's. We sit down and have a cup of coffee. I mean, this cat right here playing hockey still. He plays hockey.
Three teams.
God bless him.
And I'm saying, Dennis.
He's the commissioner.
I said, Dennis, are those your real teeth? Because you know hockey players, they get their teeth busted out all the time. Are those your real teeth? And he says, yeah.
No, that's pretty good.
What are you going to do, man?
That they're not.
What are you going to do?
Hey, but I want to just, maybe just on behalf of us, appreciate you having us up here, first of all. I mean, and then what you did, in honor of David is amazing. And I know I can speak for us. I can speak for the previous guys, and I know I can speak for his family, man. Ronnie, thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
It's amazing what you've done to keep his memory alive, and God bless you for that.
Yeah, and Monica tells me all the time. She says, we ain't getting out of here alive, man. She says, and it's true. It's true. And as we move on, I'm freaking 70. You 71?
I'll be 71 in June.
How can you be? You 71?
Not yet. In July.
Yeah. You're 70, right?
Almost.
No, you're still.
April.
Listen to me.
70's not that bad.
You're 60. Man. I mean, the year of 60.
Bad, is it?
I mean, the year of 69 was the best year of my life. And obviously so. The year of 69 has got to be the best year of your life.
Well,
so
it should be.
Keep enjoying it, all right?
Yeah. Another month or two.
But no, so
you're in the 70th year of your life.
Yeah.
But as we start moving on to that, this is all we got, right?
Yeah.
And
it's kind of cool.
I tell everybody because you don't even need cameras anymore. You can take pictures right here. You don't need cameras. But I tell everybody, just take pictures with your heart. Because whenever everything else fails, you got those pictures right there.
Sure.
And your friendships, man, you guys are the absolute best.
No, man.
I got pizzas for you over there coming. Get over there and eat some pizzas. When we're done, I'll be over there and we'll tell some more lies.
Okay.
You guys are the best, man.
Thank you.
You guys are the best.
Thanks for having us.
Dude.
Thank you, brother.
No, talk about that summer that Pat Magley and you worked out every day.
Well, I thought we were going to break. But
no, how about that? You and Pat.
It was a good experience, good fond memory. 2 hours full court every day at Cook Willard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I know.
Sophomore year going into junior year.
I mean, Chucky Taylors. High top Chucky Taylors.
Yeah, and
on the asphalt.
And high
socks. In the summer, in the
summertime,
and every time you went to Tower Hill, you were white from your knees down, man.
That's right.
And, hey, going to Tower Hill, him and I in his convertible.
No,
man.
I love that convertible.
What a great time!
Absolutely. And you had a '98 or something.
Cadillac. Coupe de Ville.
I gotta get off of this show, man. You guys are the best.
1964.
You guys are the best, man.
That's great.
Hey, Pat, come on back in. We're going to finish this up, man. We're going to talk. So I think this is amazing. I'm going to throw some stats out here anyway. Thanks, man. Thanks, man. I'll be over there.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, you're the best. Come on up, Johnny. Be good. Yeah, no. So this, and obviously, and Pat, I think you could understand this, but when if you had a radio show back in Anderson and you had the boys, Jeff Janess and maybe Roy Taylor and Tony Marshall and some of those boys, up here, and just being able to relive some of that stuff. I think it's really cool. And when these guys come back in town and we have a platform for them to jump on, I think it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Why don't you take us to commercial? We'll come back for a last ditch effort. We got about maybe 15 minutes. We can talk some ball.
Finding private health insurance can be stressful. What if it didn't have to be? I'm Tony Letcher, licensed insurance agent. I prefer to personally meet with my clients so I can get a better understanding of your needs and budget. I can even review your current coverage. I don't want you to be my client today. I want you to be my client forever. Call Tony Letcher today to schedule your free consultation or visit tletcher.com.
On Funeral Homes in Mishawaka continues its tradition of families serving families. They provide burial, cremation, and pet cremation with compassionate personal care. Families have long trusted Han to guide them through life's hardest moments. Learn more by clicking the link in the show description.
Looking to get your driver's license? Bricks Driving School in Mishawaka makes it easy. Take the official Indiana State driving exam right there in-house for just $65. No formal driver's education required.
If you're 16 years and 270 days old, and you've held an Indiana learner's permit for at least 180 days, you're eligible. For more information, the link is in the video description.
The Harbor Group Planned Wealth helps you answer the big questions like when to draw Social Security, how to manage investment risk, and what health insurance might cost. Wondering if you can earn part-time income after 62 without losing benefits, or if retiring could actually feel like getting a raise.
For more information and for information about all of our partners, see the links in the show description and make sure to tell them that Coach's Corner with Heck and King sent you.
Back with more Coach's Corner with Heck and King. Thanks as always to the Black Sedan Band for the music coming in and out of these breaks. If you're interested in booking them, that you travel, head on over to blacksedanband.com and give a special shout out to their drummer, who happens to be Heck's brother. And now, here's more Heck and King.
Hey, welcome back, boys. Thanks for giving my guys a little opportunity to slide in here. But we all know the real people on this show are the great Pat King and the great Johnny B. Good, Johnny Overmeyer. Hey, the great state of Indiana. Everybody talks about Indiana got basketball. The great state of Indiana, right?
In 49 other states, it's just basketball. This is Indiana.
Yeah, but I want to throw this by you.
Yeah, to do a reality check, right?
I want to throw this by you. 10 Division I schools in the state of Indiana.
Okay.
That's a
Did
lot.
you know that?
I knew that.
Okay.
And one's going to make the NCAA tournament.
In the men's basketball D1, 1 out of 10 is going to make it.
Right.
Purdue.
Yep. They're in.
So, I mean, like Notre Dame, 4-14 in the league. Butler, 7-13 in the league. Indiana, 9-12 in the league. Purdue at Fort Wayne, 11-9. Okay, so there's somebody over 500. IU Indy, 3-17. Ball State, 7-11. Let's fire Michael Lewis, by the way.
Yeah, we did. Yep.
We fired Michael Lewis.
He's gone.
Indiana State, 4-16. Valpo, 11-9. And Evansville, 3-17. Where's Marty Simmons when you need him?
Right.
Exactly.
At Evansville.
Yeah, no kidding.
Long gone. How's Southern Indiana? Are they on there?
No, they're not D1. They're D2.
Okay.
So let's flip.
I thought they moved. Okay, go ahead.
Let's flip the script. Women's hoops. So out of 10, 1 out of 10 will make it for sure. Notre Dame.
Notre Dame's in.
Maybe Ball State might make it. They're 26-6, 16-2 in the league and tied. It depends what happens as they go through the conference
They're in the
tournament.
semis tomorrow of the women's tournament.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Valpo 0-30.
Ugh.
So where is this great basketball? Is this and I want to ask you guys, is this the product of NIL now?
Yes.
Because some of these Mid-American schools, some of these Horizon League schools, some of these MVC, Missouri Valley schools, they don't have money to buy players. Is that what this is?
To keep them in the state. If you think about it, your NAIA schools are very dominated on their rosters by Indiana players. But I bet if you look at Ball State, if you look at Indiana State, maybe half of the roster is Indiana kids.
But why is that? I do have a theory as to why that is.
Why are they leaving the state?
Well, because Division I guys now are taking guys out of the portal.
Yes.
They want a quick fix. They're not taking 5 high school kids like they used to. They may take 1 or maybe 2 high school kids.
The other 3 are.
But the other 3 are coming out of the portals.
Yes.
And now these high school kids, which were Division I players, they're playing in the Crossroads League. They're playing in NAIA because they can get full scholarships. And it's almost like a feeder system for D1, because then when they're seniors and they're averaging 26 a game, they're going to go and play their last year at a D1.
Well, you know what? 2 years ago, everybody was talking about this big freshman class that Purdue brought in. How many of them are left? How many are still there, I wonder?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't either.
They've got Mr. Basketball from Brownstown, but Miles Colvin,
gone day.
Saw him yesterday. He was played at Wake Forest.
Wow.
He's playing for Wake Forest. I did see that. Did you see Malik Renew from Miami?
All ACC.
He's first team All ACC.
And IU can't keep him?
They couldn't keep him.
No.
He's playing for the Hurricanes in Miami.
No, so and these college tournaments are really cool. They'll be a lot of fun. Next week, we'll be able to break down brackets. Games will be starting next Thursday.
Yeah, that'll be day 2, actually.
Yeah, so I think that'll be a lot of fun.
That's the first day. That's the first full day when we start at noon, Thursday.
High school hoops now. So I think maybe Indiana still is big time when it's in relativity when you talk about high school hoops, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's why there's that little cliche we talk about. It's just basketball in 49er states. This is Indiana. And you can see that with these crowds, even the 1 and 2
good-sized crowds.
Yeah.
Where are you going this weekend?
I'm going to be at Plymouth to watch and do the St. Joe Northridge game. Great game. St. Joe 21-4, Northridge 24-1.
Yeah.
Now again, Northridge got 6'7" Brady Scholl.
Yes.
Who's a dominant player.
He's a Division I player, isn't he?
He's a Division I player, but not in this system now.
Yeah. Not anymore.
He's going to Indiana Wesleyan, and Greg Tonigal does a great job at Indiana Wesleyan, and they're always the 1 or the 2 team in the country, them and Grace.
I think they might be the number 2 seed to Grace in the national tournament.
Yeah, and so, and then there's a lot to be said for that. Here's the difference, and you guys tell me what you think. You want to be a small fish in a big pond, or you want to be a big fish in a small pond? Because when you go to Indiana Wesleyan, you're going to play.
Yes. Right.
You ain't sitting. You're getting a college scholarship. Great college, Indiana Wesleyan. Now, maybe you're not going to get NIL money like those guys are getting, but if you just purely love ball, that's why Brady Scholl goes there.
Yep. And who's to say that he stays there a year or 2 and somebody Division I comes knocking on his door? It could happen that way. You just never know.
Yeah. And so
the likelihood of him staying at Indiana Wesleyan all 4 years, I would say, is very small.
So WKRP, when turkeys fly on Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
So are turkeys flying when some of these kids are just staying here and they're just like a Brady Scholl. He is staying at the smaller levels.
And think how many Division I's may come back to NAIA. The Lutz kid is a great example, coming back to
Drew
Bethel
Lutz.
after being down at Incarnate Word for 3 years in Austin. Comes back here for his senior year and ends up being player of the year in the entire Crossroads.
Johnny, where are you going to be this weekend?
We're going to be down at Huntington following the Bremen Lions.
Really?
Yes.
That's a beautiful gym, Huntington North.
I love Viking Gym down there. It's a great atmosphere. Bremen's got their hands full with a 14-11 Lures team, a lot of athleticism, a lot of speed. I'm not sure Bremen has seen that, but don't count them out because they're going to concentrate a lot on Chase Devine. Watch out for big number 40, O'Reilly Teener. He has had a heck of an end of the regular season, had great games in the sectional tournament, and he's going to be a force. He's going to be a factor for Bremen. If they can rebound and he can get maybe 17, 18 points, Bremen's got a heck of a chance.
Well, and I think future-wise for him is really the light bulb has come on where he could be a decent NAIA recruit here coming up here as a spring recruiting, and teams are filling in a roster for next year.
Who's taking Big Pat's place on the call?
WKRP.
When turkeys fly.
Kenny's going to sit next to you instead of running the sideline?
Well, in the first game, the second game, I'm putting him down on the sideline. I'm going to have Drew sit next to me.
Drew will be there.
Yeah,
okay.
So what's the second game?
Well, the first game we're doing Strike County, Canterbury. Then we're doing Bremen Lures.
So the 1A is the first game at
the 1A is at 4 o'clock, and then the 2A game at 7. Should both be entertaining games.
So 4A got kind of tipped on its head a little bit with Fisher's B&B. Talk about the 4A stuff.
I watched the fourth quarter of that. Last week we were talking about how loaded that Noblesville sectional was, and boy, it sure was. They had, I think every game was less than 10 points. And I watched the fourth quarter, quite a bit of the fourth quarter of the Fisher's Carmel game, and it was back and forth, and it was like a 1-pointer. Then they'd come down and hit a 3. Now it's 2. And the other team came down. So it was back and forth. And basically, Carmel hit a shot with the last 20 seconds left. And Fishers came down, called timeout a couple times. They got fouled a couple times. Carmel wasn't in the bonus. They took it out. And I think there's 2.5 seconds left. They had a side out of bounds, threw it inside, and guy missed a baseline jumper, and the game was over.
Yeah, and so when Fishers got beat, the schools like Mount Vernon, like some of those schools, Mount Vernon coached by Joey Bradburn, one of my former players, Lawrence Central, Phil Washington's team beats Lawrence North.
Mm-hmm.
Even St. Joe is looking and saying, we don't got to worry about Fishers now.
Yeah.
If we can take care of business, there's no more Fishers.
Now up here in the north, and that they're in the North Semi-State.
Crown
you
Point.
got Chesterton, Crown Point's number 2, so they're the next highest rated team in the polls. The Northridge St. Joe game, you got number 6 and number 8, so that right there is going to be a big game. Snyder plays out Carmel. Carmel's number 10 officially in the polls. Even though if you look at the power ratings, they're probably number 2 or 3 in the power ratings. Then down at Logansport, you've got Lafayette, Harrison, and Homestead. So those are the teams that you're going to be putting ping pong balls in Sunday for the semi-state next week. So
don't count Chesterton out.
You got it.
They're dangerous.
Have you seen Chesterton this year?
I have. They are dangerous.
They have a 6'7" sophomore.
Yes.
Can't think of his name.
I can't think of it either, but he's
a straight up player.
He's straight up, and he's going to give Crown Point all kinds of heck.
I know. Clint Swan does a great job at Crown Point. And then when you look at the South in 4A, you got Columbus North, Terre Haute North.
How's this for a game? Number 3 and number 4.
Yeah, and Pike beat Mount Vernon about 2 weeks before the end of the season, or a 1-point game. I haven't had a chance to talk to Joey about that yet. And then Phil Washington, one of my guys, at 14 and 11, wins that strong Indianapolis sectional, and will play Decatur Central. Again, New Albany. Did Jimmy Shannon come out of retirement?
I don't think so, but they rebounded, haven't they? This is the first good team they've had since he retired.
Yeah, they're playing Castle. Our state champion of last year, Jeffersonville, got knocked out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who knocked Jeff out?
You talk about a generational game. Seymour beats Jeffersonville.
Yeah.
That's no.
That doesn't happen.
No.
The only thing Seymour's noted for is Under the Bleachers by Seymour Butts.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Let's go to 3A.
Oh, boy.
Robbie thinks he gets in trouble?
Yeah.
Under the Bleachers by Seymour Butts.
Here's your
I'll never be on the radio again.
No, you're done. You're
FCC.
Out. You're out.
So you got the game you're going to see. The previous game is Plymouth. You've got Columbia City and Hanover Central, which should be a blowout.
Well, stop for a second. Hanover Central is coached by one of our former assistants at Mishawaka, Chandler Spring.
Right.
And Chandler Spring is outstanding.
Well, he's found out he's a pretty good tournament coach.
Yeah, 12 and 14. So Columbia City is good, though.
Yeah,
they are.
They're number 5 in the state. You got East Chicago and Mishawaka Marion over at Michigan City. You got West Lafayette, who's ranked 9th. They play New Haven over at Logansport. And then down at Newcastle is considered a part of the North Semi-State. You've got Delta, who seems like they're an annual entry.
John.
We saw Delta last year.
Mark Detweiler just does a great job.
Yeah, and they were not the best team. Yorktown was the best team in their sectional, but here they are at 15 and 10, and they get to play a very good Blackhawk Christian team. And Blackhawk is now 3A. I think they're a 1A school playing 3A ball. So, but the South is loaded.
Silver Creek at 27 and 1.
Well, they might be the best team, period. Some people say they're better than any of the 4As.
You talk about St. Joe's 4 losses, okay? the first game of the season of Chesterton.
Yep.
The very next night, they go play Indianapolis Cathedral.
Mm-hmm.
Then they play Mount Vernon at the Homestead tournament at Christmas and lose in double overtime by a point to Mount Vernon and Mr. Basketball favorite Luke Ertl.
Right.
And then they get beat by Silver Creek.
Well, and you mentioned those teams. Cathedral's ranked third in 3A.
Sure.
They play Brebeuf. You've got Ron Colley and Northview. Northview's number 4. They're nice and spread out. Down at Southridge, you got Princeton and Bossy. Princeton's number 2. And then you said Silver Creek's down at Charlestown, and that's they're number 1. So you're very possible the way that's played out. You could have 1, 2, 3, and 4 at the semi-state next week.
Now here's okay, and I'm not saying this to be a wise guy, and I don't know if WKRP has any information on this, but would the IHSAA ever think, because of the destruction that happened around North Judson, of rescheduling that regional to another gym?
Nope. I'm sure it's been discussed.
But at North Judson, you got a great Westview team.
They are good.
Great Westview team against
that game right there could be the state championship, believe it or not.
Yeah, Fort Wayne Lures.
Because of all the other team, you've got Paoli and Oak Hill spread out, but those are 2 of the best teams. They're number 3 and number 7.
Yeah, and Paoli undefeated, 26-0.
Yeah.
And then you look at LaPel, Coach Cherry, right?
Again, there they are.
They're the Bulldogs, man. They show up,
and they're playing at home.
Yeah. Well, we
just
talked
like
about
the girls
that.
did. We had mentioned the girls when we did the girls semi-state. They'd mentioned that LaPel's girls over a 4-year period were 12-0 in the tournaments because they
played at home.
And they played at home. They had hosted sectional and regionals at LaPel. They were 12-0. So that means they had been to the semi-state, I think, 4 straight years.
4 straight years, yep.
And then when you go down to Class 1A, so Class 1A, again, one of my ex-players.
How soon are we jumping on the Liberty Christian bandwagon here?
I'm just saying, Little D. Little D plays a 4A schedule.
Well, they're gonna whoop up on Greenwood Christian.
Yeah,
I'll call that one now.
So they're 18-7, and they play Lawrence Central. They play Cathedral, and it just gets them ready for this 1A
and that's what we were
tournament.
talking about with Kenny while you were talking to your St. Joe buddies. Couts was number 1 in the state. They were undefeated, and then they lose to Michigan City Marquette, who had played a bunch of 3A and 4A schools, and we were talking they were victims of their schedule. Do you want to have an undefeated season and not take your chances in the tournament, or do you want to have a good tournament? Because we're going to see the same thing this week coming up. The private schools in 1A go play 3A and 4A schools.
For sure.
Where your 1A public schools stay in their neighborhood so far, and they play the neighborhood teams. And if you look at their roster schedules, they're pretty well 1A and 2A teams on their schedules. Very few 3s and very few even less 4s.
I did the St. Joe Marquette game, and that was real early in the season. And obviously St. Joe beat them bad, but you could see that Marquette had some athletes, and Ray Tarnow is just an outstanding high school basketball coach at Marquette.
Well, and you're going to see that at Judson because a very good Triton team plays Marquette at North Judson this Saturday. You got Monroe Central and Southwood, Rossville, North Vermilion. Down south, you got South Decatur, Hauser, Liberty Christian and Greenwood Christian are at Greenfield. So that you'll keep track of that. You got Bar Reeve, West Washington, Northeast Du Bois. There's a lot of public schools in 1A right now in their Sweet 16. There's a lot of public schools. Let's see how Marquette, let's see how Liberty Christian, Greenwood Christian, let's see how they do this week and on into next week.
Well, and the one that I'm going to do too at Huntington, Tri-County and
Canterbury.
Canterbury is a member of the Hoosier Plains.
Right.
The one that's got Elkhart Christian, Bethany Christian, Career Academy.
Uh-huh.
And what I found interesting doing some research, Canterbury, they got beat twice by Career Academy. Once in the regular season and in the tournament.
Who's a big 2A school.
South Bend?
Yeah, South Bend Career Academy beat Canterbury twice.
You're kidding me.
Uh-uh.
So Leon Johnson did not leave the cupboard bare at South Bend Career Academy.
They won a lot of games this year. They won 10 games.
Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah, and they beat Canterbury twice. And this Tri-County team is senior dominant. All 5 starters are seniors.
Wow.
So they've had a lot of tournament experience. So don't count out Tri-County in that one. That ought to be a dandy too.
And everybody's got a one game. They only have to play one game. The regionals in Indiana for the last 2 or 3 years have been one game. So you play one game, you cut down the nets, they put up one, they clear the gym, and they start over with the next game.
So will you be doing a semi-state then after this?
I'm assuming we'll be somewhere.
Really?
Yes. I may be with you doing St. Joe. Who knows?
St. Joe could very easily. St. Joe is so athletic.
I like St. Joe in that game.
Yeah,
I really do.
And here's one thing I mentioned, broadcastsport.net, Region Radio Sports.
Yep.
You have also, if you want to watch these games, other games anywhere in the state, you can get on the Indiana the Champions Network.
IHSATV.org, or Champions Network, yep.
And you can watch any game in the state this week. Last chance, they're free.
Yep. Next week, they're
free. You can watch any game, and that's what we were doing last week at the sectional.
Yep.
We had our phones. I had the Fishers on.
Drew has the game. I had a game
South
on.
Bend on. We had 3 different games we were watching.
Really cool.
during halftime and stuff, just to get updates, and they were all free. So anybody at home, no matter where you are in the country, just type in the Indiana, IHSA Champions Network, and you can. They're just got a whole menu. Just
There's a search, Regional Radio Sports, broadcastsport.net. Yep.
Yeah, in Regional Radio Sports, and one of the things that I talked to my guys about was how everybody came together to pay for and sponsor these games, and we're playing these games in the memory of one of our fallen teammates, David Kuzmits, who played for St. Joe and played for Notre Dame. So regional RRSN.org. Pull them up, man.
Yep.
Hey, listen, I think we're about finished now. This has been a great show, Johnny. I can't tell you how much fun it is to have you coming on. We put Pat in the middle, and you and me kind of blindside Pat a little bit every now and then.
I love doing that. That's great.
Yeah, Pat is such a great sport.
I try.
Pat does not tell us to F off. F off, you guys.
Now here, I was going to say Purdue and Northwestern, but Northwestern won at home. Northwestern beat IU at IU, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
That's my road team back before the tournament started. Has to be Northwestern at IU.
And so when we talk about turkeys flying, who would ever have thought that turkeys could fly? And who would ever have thought that Northwestern would have a 7-game winning streak over the Indiana Hoosiers, right?
I never would.
I mean, Coach Knight's probably turning over in his grave
several times. Yeah.
Several times. A, because he's seeing turkeys fly, and B, Northwestern's kicking IU.
I want to see where Bobby Hurley lands. We're here coming out of now that he's leaving Arizona State.
Yeah,
I bet he ends up on the East Coast someplace.
I don't know. Maybe Ball State. Who knows?
You never know.
We'll take him.
We'll take him.
Muncie.
Guys,
we'll take him, Testicle Tech.
It's time to go eat some pizza.
Yes,
you guys are the best.
Thanks,
Johnny.
everybody.
Thanks, man.
I'll
You're
be
the
back,
best,
guys. I promise.
All right.
The best.
OTA, we're out. Thank you, guys.
Man, you ain't that good. The scouting report said you were pretty good. You ain't that good.
All right, do you see anything on here? It says that's a wrap. Scott, I need your help because it hadn't cut us off yet. Where does it say end stream? Oh, here it says.
Man, you ain't that good. The scouting report said you were pretty good. You ain't that good.